Hello, everyone, and welcome to the summary of episode 5, in which we are focusing on the relatively ignored side of the map, which we haven't actually built anything other than the bricks line for Birmingham in the past. So, without further ado, let's get cracking on with it. So, first off, we have improved the bricks line for Birmingham quite simply by upgrading the vehicles that are on there. So now we have some Benz tarpaulin trucks going around in circles for that particular route. That has improved that particular line quite a lot because obviously those vehicles can carry more and they're able to go faster. So as you can see, it's bumped up the amount of cargo that's moved and thus has also increased the amount of money that we make there. So one of the first things that we do in this particular episode or stream is we set up this Mobile food processing plant. So the city of Mobile, or Mobile, however you want to pronounce it, I'm pretty sure it's Mobile. I think it's a German city, but I may be wrong. Maybe it's also one in America. I don't know. But anyway, we basically created a couple of different grain lines to feed the food processing plant, no pun intended, with grain. So there's a couple of lines here which go back and forth. They simply pump grain into this particular factory, and as you can see, it's only really getting used by San Diego at the moment. So over in San Diego, one of the larger cities we have over here, we have basically brought food down this way to San Diego. Food was something that we hadn't actually ventured into in the past, so this was quite an interesting little episode. We haven't actually created a food um, chain yet, and it's interesting because it's a 2-to-1 conversion rate, but not just that. The main producers or the farms basically that create the grain, they only create 200 at a time. So where the maximum would be 400 output for a food processing plant, um, you would need 4 farms in order to feed that and have its maximum output. So hence we have put in 2 lines that facilitate grain from 4 different farms around the area. So that has a lot of room to grow. At the moment, it's only actually feeding San Diego, so it's not really grown too much. But as San Diego grows, it will then need more food and what have you. So down in San Diego, we've built a little not construction area, sorry, a cargo area which has a bricks factory right next to it. The construction materials, and actually the construction materials are getting used in Mobile. So it's quite nice that we're taking food from Mobile, but taking bricks from San Diego. It almost feels like there's a little bit of a trade here, even though they are separate lines, because ultimately they use different train trucks. So the food uses boxcars, and the bricks use flat car side stakes with side stakes. Sorry, so we couldn't actually have one line doing both. It just wouldn't really be efficient. But it is really nice to think there's a bit of a partnership between these 2 cities, and they're almost sending products to each other just down the road from each other. So in order to facilitate that, obviously we've got the farms which are bringing grain in on gondola trains. So the trains have gondola trucks, as you can see here, for collecting grain. We also have a really nice stone line here, which is quite simple. It just brings stone into San Diego. So obviously with construction materials, the chain is just a 1-to-1 conversion rate, which makes it fairly simple to set up in regards to you only really need one quarry to maximize or provide full amounts of stone to one construction material plant. So that's all set up with this particular route here, and it's a bit of an offshoot from the original train station that came into San Diego down here. So we've got a nice flyover, which means that the trains don't have to stop any other trains. They can keep going and work their way through. And then, as you can see over here, we've got some more train tracks. So I'll get into that shortly. But the bricks are going over to mobile, and we have our mobile construction. I keep saying construction because I keep thinking of the bricks as construction materials, but it's a cargo platform. Is what I meant to say. So we set up a cargo line to take things into mobile. We've got potential down the road for goods, and it was something that I was contemplating setting up, but for this early sort of stage of setting up this side of the map, I don't really want to get into the complicated chains of goods, because goods needs plastic and steel. Each of those needs a few other things, and I just didn't necessarily want to get into it at this stage, although ironically, where I haven't, the chemical plant is now removing itself, so maybe that will come around to bite me in the behind later if the chemical plant that replaces it isn't going to be nearby here, or if it's not near another goods factory. In fact, we've got one over here which we could potentially hook up, so that should be okay. It's just, it's ironic that I was thinking about using this one, and now it's the chemical plant's almost like, you know what? If you don't want me, then fine, I'm leaving. There we go. Boom, it's gone. But anyway, moving swiftly on. We have another line here, which is for oil. I'm going to make it a light blue just so you can see the line. It brings oil down to the fuel refinery here for Oxnard. I decided to go with fuel because I think fuel can be used in a number of different cities. So we've got San Diego getting some fuel. So that particular line is quite interesting line. It uses the different tracks that we've already put in place. So we already put this track in place for the oil line, and then we're just putting in a nice little connection into that other stone line which we made earlier. So it's not necessarily the most direct of lines, but it's still making a little bit of money each year, and I'm sure as the demand for fuel goes up, it will also go up with time. But anyway, moving back to where we were with the oil line, it is coming straight through to an oil refinery on this side of the map. So it's quite a long route, but it does mean that we are making a decent amount of money on it, because it's transporting goods quite a far distance, and it means that makes a fair amount of money, and it's only really empty between the Oxnard fuel refinery and the cargo well here, or not the cargo well, the oil well here, the crude oil well, and then between the oil refinery and the other crude oil well. So we've set up this line. It's doing quite well. I'm quite happy with it, and it means that we have fuel down here to feed Oxnard with fuel. So we've created a little cargo route, which you can see here. If I make it a bit more of a brighter color, hopefully you can see it a bit better. It just goes around the city of Oxnard and provides goods in a couple of different key locations for the for the commercial and industrial areas. So this way, hopefully, it means that everything should get covered. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes, but I'm pretty sure that should cover most of it. So yeah, we've built a fair amount for Oxnard. And there's one last thing that we've also set up. We've also set up a tools factory over here. So the tools factory is being supplied planks via a line down here, which is actually quite efficient because it's picking up logs, dropping off logs, picking up planks, bringing those planks up, and then between here and here it's empty, but then it's picking up more logs, bringing them back, and then between here and here it's empty. So it's not that empty throughout the route. So that should make a decent amount of money, especially as the demand for tools goes up, and then the requirement of planks will go up as well, meaning that it will level up the sawmill and produce more from the actual forests. So that will make a fair amount of money. But interestingly, on this side of the map, there's quite a few places that want tools. That particular screen doesn't really do it justice. So we need tools in Fontana, which we have hooked up. We just haven't actually put any vehicles on this line yet. So Fontana will be getting tools. And then we've also got tools needed in Oxnard, but also one of the largest cities in the map, Birmingham, needs tools. So we need a lot of tools throughout this route, and I'm very, very excited to get that fully set up because it will probably need quite a lot of the capacity of this tools factory, if not all of it down the line, and then we'll need to hook up other tools factories to actually supply these other cities. So all in all, we've created some really interesting lines around this area. I'm not going to say that we're finished just yet because you never really finish, but in this game. But I would say that basically we've made a really good start. All of the cargo that San Diego wants is getting fulfilled. We're almost there with some other cities like Oxnard. We are going to be providing tools to it very shortly. It's just on its way. We're also going to be providing things to the likes of Fontana. We could potentially hook in food for North Las Vegas, which we haven't just yet. Also food for Henderson over here. So there's a lot of potential for where this one could go. I'm not going to say that we're going to fulfill everything just yet. It's a fair ways off yet, I would say, but we're doing quite well initially. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this little summary, then consider watching the full stream over on the playlist, which is linked below. And for anything else, have a great rest of your day and let me know in the comments. Cheers. Bye.